Hello everyone on YouTube and welcome to IRSA's third event in its history, as I am Levi McIntyre, the voice for not only the NASCAR Marvel Studios Cup Series, but also for IRSA. Welcome to the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. However, this is going to be a different kind of race. Instead of the concrete Bristol, we're going old school. We're going 1991 asphalt Bristol with only seats on the front and back straightaways, not all around the track. And we are running the Truck Series mod from 2015, so we're doing trucks for the first time in IRSA history. If we recall, Daytona we used the Cup 90 mod. Kansas last month we ran the 2003 to 2005 Cup Series mod. Now we're doing the 2015 Truck Series mod for this particular event, so it should make for some interesting racing nonetheless. But man, what a ride it's been so far for IRSA. We've had two great races. Can we get a third straight one in? We'll see what happens, especially considering this is our first short track event we have ever had in IRSA history. But also a quick announcement for everyone who's been into IRSA. Sadly, through the winter months, December, January, February, maybe March, depending on what happens, we're going to be taking IRSA to the back burner on this channel for a little while, as Season 7 of the NASCAR Marvel Studios Cup Series will be returning very, very soon. So this is going to be the final IRSA race we're going to have for a little while, and then we'll see what happens going forward. But anyways, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Food City 500. Starting on the front row, we have Johnny Gardner and a returning driver to this channel, Dylan Thoreau. Row 2, Sebastian Kukulon and Jackson Traeger. Row 3, Caleb Kilburn, Luke Rainey. Row 4, Derek Hamill, Kyle Matthews. Row 5, Seth Cole, Jay Jefferson. Rest of the top 20 are Ben Crouch, Jesse Turner, Bruce Jenkins, Priya McShane, Zachary Fitzwater, Ashlyn Boyd, another returning driver to the channel, David Rivera, Rob Evans, the last/first two winners for IRSA competition, Brad Cheston. Can he go three in a row? We'll see as he starts 19th, followed by Chris Chagoy. Then the rest of the field includes Arthur Xavier, Carter Friesen, Colin Francis, Paul Jackson, Trey Fisher, Matt McIntyre, Keith Miller, Chris Harvey, Joshua Sekuli, and starting last is Jonathan Zorline. So that is a look at the starting lineup for this special race here today. But without further ado, let's get the command to fire engines for the Food City 500 at Bristol.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 30 trucks now on the racetrack to get their one pace lap in. And like I said, this is going to be fun and interesting to see how this race plays out. Pace truck pulling into pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing. Sebastian Kukulon tried to lead that first lap, but came up short. But now he has the lead for himself as Johnny Gardner is starting to fall back a little bit. Falls back to third as Derek Hamill actually moved all the way back up to the second position already here at the start of the race. As positions are beginning to swap all throughout the field, but up here and around the top 5 or so, it's starting to get single file, which is typically the standard for the start here at Bristol from what I've seen in NR 2003. Typically after the start of the race, it tends to get single file up at the front of the field. However, we may have a battle for third that might happen between the two front row drivers, Johnny Gardner and Dylan Thoreau, as Dylan Thoreau's trying to get to the bottom underneath the 21, and he's going to finally make the pass. And as a result of that, Seth Cole's now entered the fray as he's looking to try and get up to the 4th position, as he's got to run underneath of Gardner and is going to soundly pass him for the spot, getting ready to come off of turn 4. Back up at the front, however, Sebastian Kukulon still holding it down, but Derek Hamill's starting to close the gap just a little bit. As I looked at the lap times, yeah, Derek Hamill's a little bit quicker on track than Sebastian Kukulon, and in fact, that last lap, Hamill managed to gain 0.07 of a second on the 98 truck. But remember, another key factor is that sometimes clean air can be an advantage for the driver up at the front of the field to be able to maintain position. But man, look at the run Derek's getting. He is closing into the back bumper of Sebastian Kukulon. Now, since this is Bristol, could we see some bump and runs take place here in this race with these trucks? I don't know. Derek Hamill might be thinking about doing that, but he's instead going to go to the bottom, and he's going to take the lead for himself. Just barely led at the line, but has that bottom lane, which is the quicker way around the racetrack as far as distance. But as far as carrying speed, the outside lane, especially off turn 4, does manage to hold its own, but off of turn 2, it's the bottom that gets more speed off the corner. But Derek Hamill takes the race lead for now. Dylan Thoreau kind of lurking in the shadows of that battle for the top spot between Kukulon and Hamill, as he currently sits at a little over 3/4 of a second back behind the 48. Right now, Seth Cole up to the 4th position, and he's staying right there for now. Johnny Gardner, who started on the pole, got to lead the first lap, but has since fallen back to the 5th position. Keep in mind, yeah, this is a very, very quick racetrack. It takes under 16 seconds to get a lap around here, depending on tire fall off as the runs go along. But also, it's 225 laps, which, if this were, say, a track like Atlanta or something, that'd be about 112 or so laps around Atlanta. So, yeah, this race, if we don't have cautions, this race could be over in little over an hour. But then again, sometimes Bristol does breed cautions depending on the situations at hand. Right now, David Rivera, who started outside of the top 10, I believe he started in around, I want to say the 17th or 18th spot, already up to the 6th position. So right now in the 6th position, David Rivera, who's seemingly got a pretty fast truck, just maybe not the fastest out of them all, is right behind him, battle for the 7th spot, Bruce Jenkins in the 10 with Keith Miller in the 4. Keith Miller, though, with that run on the bottom, and he's going to clear Bruce Jenkins to take the 7th position on the racetrack. Next battle we might see ensue for the 9th position, Chris Harvey and Jonathan Zorling. Jonathan Zorling started dead last, and within 20 laps up to the 10th position, and man, he thought about getting into the back bumper of Harvey right there, but instead just psyched him out and is going to beat him at the line and perhaps clear him for position. Meanwhile, we got a 3-truck battle for the 11th spot. Rob Evans, Caleb Kilburn in the 99, and Paul Jackson in the 24, but Paul Jackson going to make the pass on both of them, and that's helping to bring more trucks into this fight, and that's Carter Friesen in the 54 and Jesse Turner in the 17. A lot of craziness going on right outside of the top 10. For the 11th position, we have 5 trucks fighting for that spot. Right now, Paul Jackson holding it down, but look at Carter Friesen making the move underneath Caleb Kilburn to take 12th away. And now to take 13th away, Jesse Turner, as Caleb Kilburn starting to lose some patience as he gets stuck on the outside line, which is not where you want to be on this racetrack. And Rob Evans got the run on the bottom, and this would be for 14th. And now we got a new contender, Ashlyn Boyd in the 18 truck. Meanwhile, battle raging on for 12th between Jesse Turner and Carter Friesen, but Jesse Turner going to take that position away. Back up here, Jonathan Zorling continuing to move his way up through the field as he's now up to the 8th position as he passes Bruce Jenkins to take that position. Meanwhile, we might have a battle for the 6th position coming up as Keith Miller's closing in on the back bumper of David Rivera. Back up here at the front, however, Derek Hamill still leading the way as Sebastian Kukulon not too far behind. Same with Dylan Thoreau. It's been these three trucks up at the front most of this first run of the race. And one other thing I forgot to mention as far as how this race how it will play out. If we get a caution and we have lap down trucks, I believe there will be single file restarts, so the lap trucks would have to perhaps restart in where they were on track. And speaking of which, the caution is out. Wonder what for. I don't see anybody spun out or damaged or any smoke. I don't know what that was all about, but the caution came out on lap 30, but no trucks were lapped in this entire ordeal, so no worries about with the restarts. But it looks like just about everyone's coming into pit road, although we got some trucks staying out. Pit strategy already here in the early going as Keith Miller stays out, followed by Jonathan Zorling and I believe Chris Harvey? Yes. Paul Jackson and Carter Friesen will be the top 5 when we get back to racing. But let's go ahead and take you to see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Bristol. Well, nobody crashed during the first caution, so it was probably a phantom caution that happened. But while I was looking through the replays, everybody that stayed out went in the pit road the following lap after the leaders did. But Rob Evans is now tail end of the lead lap. I'm not sure what happened with him, but top 10 when we get back to racing. Derek Hamill, the leader, Sebastian Kukulon, Seth Cole, David Rivera, Dylan Thoreau, Bruce Jenkins, Johnny Gardner, Jesse Turner, Caleb Kilburn, Ashlyn Boyd. That is your top 10 as we're getting ready to go back to racing. Rob Evans, however, tail end of the lead lap in front of Derek Hamill, and Sebastian Kukulon looked like he was going to go underneath Derek Hamill going into turn 1, but didn't make it work, and now Rob Evans going to go a lap down, potentially. So the point I was going to make earlier before the caution had come out, that because I turned off double file restarts, I'm not sure if lap cars would have to start where they were on track or at the very tail end of the field. I'm not sure how that works because I've never done that in any of these races where I've turned off double file restarts. Nonetheless, however, Derek Hamill has the race lead again. Sebastian Kukulon looked like he was going to maybe make a move in turn 3, but lost a little bit of ground. Can he make that ground back up is the question. But real quick, let's take a look and see who's got the fastest lap of the race so far. And it's Derek Hamill at a 15.644 on the racetrack. Meanwhile, we got some new contenders starting to get close to the front. David Rivera, who's stuck right now behind a lap truck of Rob Evans. But Sebastian Kukulon still somewhat maintaining himself, trying to stay within reach of the 48 truck of Derek Hamill. As far as battles on track, however, this is the closest one we've gotten. This one's for the 6th position. Dylan Thoreau is about to go by Zachary Fitzwater for that spot. Johnny Gardner reeling in the 29 now as a result. And now Ashlyn Boyd on the outside trying to hold off Brad Cheston. Remember, Brad Cheston so far in our 2 races for IRSA, we have had the same winner in both races, and it has been Brad Cheston. He won Daytona, then he won at Kansas. Can he go 3 in a row to continue to make history for this new league? Might see a battle go on between teammates for the race only, David Rivera and Jesse Turner, but Rivera holding them down. As Derek Hamill's still hanging on to the top spot. Yeah, that clean air he's got up at the front, definitely helping him to stay up there. Sebastian Kukulon may have to end up changing his game plan a little bit to try and do the best he can to reel in the 48 and try and make a pass for the lead. Meanwhile, the battle for the 4th position continuing between teammates Rivera and Jesse Turner. Jesse Turner keeps trying to run a lower line than the 6 car, but is just coming to no avail right now. So Jesse Turner also may be looking to change up his game plan somewhat. Meanwhile, nearly a wreck right there. I saw both the 24 and the 4 nearly go into the wall. Keith Miller maybe tried to block Paul Jackson, and it just didn't quite work out, as now Paul Jackson about to take what looks like, the 12th position on the racetrack. And now Chris Chagoy is entered into the picture, as this is a big cluster of cars from 12th on back, as Keith Miller is about to get passed by more trucks. Seth Cole now into the fray. Kyle Matthews slowly approaching, along with Priya McShane and Carter Friesen. There's Jay Jefferson in the 1 truck, who we haven't really talked about at all in this race, as he's just watched Carter Friesen nearly put the bumper on Priya McShane to try and make that pass. Luke Rainey also trying to make some moves, as now he's going to get a huge run underneath the 92. As meanwhile, things are getting pretty dicey in the back of the pack right now. Right now, running in the last car on the lead lap currently is Ben Crouch in the 19 truck. Not the best of runs going for him right now. Meanwhile, Bruce Jenkins finally got around the lap truck of Rob Evans, so now he's going to have a better opportunity to try and get up to 2nd and try and reel in the 98 truck of Sebastian Kukulon. Bruce Jenkins made a huge pass on the 98 of Sebastian Kukulon, now up to 2nd. Now he's just got 1 truck in his sights, and that is Derek Hamill in the 48. Can he make the pass, though, if he can get to him? Let's see the distance this time. Nearly a 1/10 of a second closed in between the 10 and the 48. Sebastian Kukulon, who led early in the race, now looking to regroup and try and run down the 10 and the 48 if he can. Meanwhile, Bruce Jenkins closed in nearly another 1/10 of a second that lap. So yeah, Bruce Jenkins definitely has a really, really fast truck. Although fastest lap of the race so far now, Johnny Gardner has 15.606. Last time by, margin of the lead didn't really change all that much, although Bruce had a 0.03 of a second faster lap than the 48, but that time the 48 had a faster lap of nearly a whole 100th of a second. So maybe the 48's starting to push the pedal to the metal a little bit to try and hold off the 10. Although that lap, however, the 10 of Bruce Jenkins closed in over a tenth of a second. Now less than 4 tenths behind the 48. Although no lap traffic will be in the way for a little while. Though you gotta wonder, whenever eventually, if this race stays green for a long time, you gotta wonder when or if the leaders are going to encounter lap traffic, and that'll really shake up the whole complexion of this race. As that time, Bruce Jenkins gained 0.03 of a second on the 48. And you can definitely tell the 10 truck is definitely faster. It's just a matter of trying to figure out which line to run to really run him down and then eventually make a pass. Although that time, Derek got ahead by 100th of a second. Almost 200ths of a second, in fact. But let's see here across the line, the margin this time. Bruce closed in a little over a half a tenth. But man, you gotta wonder what is going through the mind of Bruce Jenkins, of thinking what he's going to have to do to try and make the pass if he can get to the back bumper of the 48, as he actually lost a little bit of time that last lap. And Bruce trying to run trying to maybe arc the corners a little bit to try and get some air to the front end, and he actually gained a tenth of a second that time. He's getting there, closing in on that back bumper. Once he can get to the back bumper and then make a dive into the bottom going into a corner, he might be able to make the pass, although that time he lost a little bit of ground. But yeah, you can tell Bruce Jenkins gets such... From what I can tell, it looks like at points, Derek Hamill beats the 10 off of 3 and 4, but Bruce beats him off of 1 and 2. Let's see this time. I don't know, it looked like the 48 actually beat out the 10 just slightly off of turn 2. Perhaps now Derek Hamill's starting to catch on to what Bruce Jenkins is doing, and actually that time managed to pull away by a tenth of a second. Let's actually go to helicopter camera and watch the closing rate between the 48 and the 10. It looked like that time the 10 definitely closed in a little bit, almost a tenth. Looked like he closed in just slightly there in 1 and 2. What about 3 and 4? Yeah, right there you see the 48 backing off of the throttle a little more than usual in 3 and 4. And that helps for the 10 to make a little bit of a... or closing in the gap a little bit, so to speak. But not really much other movement going on the track. And in fact, that time, definitely the 48 beat the 10 off of turn 4. So... yeah, you can definitely tell the 48's caught on to what Bruce Jenkins is doing on track, trying to hold him off. But in the meantime, they've been pulling away from third place for quite a while. As right now, Sebastian Kukulon's now 2 seconds behind, and he actually has Jesse Turner approaching him. So we'll see if maybe Jesse Turner has something for the 98 truck to try and take the third position away. Meanwhile, the next battle we just kind of caught the end of. Brad Cheston went past Paul Jackson, but now Arthur Xavier now trying to get into the top 10 as he's trying to make the pass on Paul Jackson. Doesn't quite make it happen off of 4, but perhaps off of 2 he'll clear him. And he does, and that actually helps for David Rivera to get up to 11th now as a result. But David Rivera still needs to get clear of him off of 2, and he does finally clear the 24 truck. Next closest battle we have on the racetrack. It's pretty much just single file throughout much of the field, but meanwhile back up here at the front, Derek Hamill's still trying to hold off a charging Bruce Jenkins. This time by the margin, a little bit closer, as Bruce is still trying to figure out what he's going to have to do to make the move on the 48. But here in a few laps, we're actually going to take our first of 2 commercial breaks. But Derek Hamill's still trying to hold off Bruce Jenkins as we are on now lap 80. So this race, besides that caution on lap 30, this race is zipping along and the leaders are going to catch lap traffic. Good timing for the commercial, as ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back, but stick around. The race coverage will be on the bottom of your screen, but on the top of the screen it will be commercial time. So enjoy these lovely commercials courtesy of yours truly and Kamikaze Games. Stick around, we'll be right back after these messages for the Food City 500 at Bristol. It's nothing quite like having an avocado for lunch.
Wait, what? What the hell are you doing? Why are you eating an avocado when you can eat one of my fudge rounds right now, boy?
Little Debbie, you know I'm trying to cut back on eating sweets, you know.
Why are you rejecting me like this, man?
Please don't start with me, please.
You used to love eating my products when you were a child. Now all of a sudden you want to avoid me. Why are you avoiding me? What did I do wrong to you? Okay, yeah, maybe I made you a little fat, but come on. You loved me so much. Levi, what the hell are you doing? Why are you betraying me like this?
Fuck this, I'm going outside. Fuck this shit.
Hey, get your big fat ass back over here right now and eat me! Eat me!
Little Debbie, if you eat too much of her, you'll end up getting fat, but it's so good.
And just where the fuck do you think you're going? Boy, you better not be going out without me again.
No, Aunt Jemima, this isn't what it looks like. I'm just gluten-free, okay? I told you.
Oh, no, you ain't. I know all you white boys are all the same. Don't you think I didn't see you with that bitch Miss Buttersworth last week? I didn't see everything, boy. I see everything. And you are not going to tell me that I don't know these things because I am Aunt fucking Jemima and you are not going to pull any fast ones on me, okay? So you better just be getting your punk white ass back over here so I can make you some fucking pancakes. I can make you,
You know which
some
table to
wonderful
find me,
pancakes. But no, you have to act like this every single time that we go through this nonsense.
Aunt Jemima.
29 years old,
Half the
so I can
taste,
make you
twice
some
the
fucking
sass.
pancakes. Now available in Country Rich, baby.
Okay, let's see what we got to drink. Fucking perfect. Some good old Powerade. Delicious. No, not really. Powerade, the most overrated drink ever made. Go to your local store and see for yourself.
Shout, shout, get 'em all out. These are the stains I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, shout, get 'em all out. These are the stains I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on.
Shout triple acting stain remover. It actually works.
Welcome back to the Food City 500 here at Bristol Motor Speedway as we continue to monitor this battle for the lead between Derek Hamill and the 10 of Bruce Jenkins as they have encountered lap traffic as the 31 of Joshua Sekuli and the 19 of Ben Crouch have joined Rob Evans at going a lap down. So we currently have 3 trucks that are a lap down on track. And there's probably going to be more to come as the leaders are approaching Dylan Thoreau among many others up ahead. Lap traffic, however, has helped for Bruce Jenkins to stay within reach of the 48 of Derek Hamill, but still has not been able to make the passes as lap times are starting to get slower and slower as the laps wind down for the next round of pit stops, as they're now running about 16 and a half seconds as opposed to around 15.7. But that time, Bruce Jenkins was able to close in just a little bit on the 48, but still just not got enough to really make a move. Although Bruce Jenkins now under 0.2 of a second behind the 48 of Derek Hamill. It's just a matter of trying to run lower on track to get a little bit of air to the front end of that truck to be able to suck up to the back bumper, so to speak. But as they are now approaching the 12 of Chris Harvey, who's probably going to be the next truck that will go a lap down, as we are getting close to lap 100, but definitely we're getting closer to the halfway point of the race. Although I see some trucks on pit road, that could be a sign of green flag pit stops might start to occur. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the next couple of laps. Who's going to come into pit road and who's not. Sebastian Kukulon, who was third, actually came in the pit road as a result of all that. And the top two is coming in now. Derek Hamill and Bruce Jenkins have elected to come into pit road, and not sure who this hands the lead to. Looks like to Ashlyn Boyd in the 18. Ashlyn Boyd right now has the top spot on track, followed by Caleb Kilburn in the 99. Although Caleb's going to come in, Paul Jackson, on the other hand, staying out another lap. Same with the leader, Ashlyn Boyd. You gotta wonder if this is going to work out to the benefit of the 18 truck, if by staying out longer, he might be able to get out ahead. Although Carter Friesen's going to stay out another lap and take the lead for himself. And Carter Friesen staying out even longer, so if a caution were to come out now, Carter Friesen would be in the catbird seat to maintain the lead, although he's coming in the pit road now on the backstretch pit road. So Carter Friesen perhaps sacrificing the lead for now to come into pit road. Luckily, he's got the first pit stall on the backstretch pit road. Let's see, does he go 4 tires? Yes, he does. 4 tires and gas for the 54 of Carter Friesen. Although a little bit of a long stay in pit road, that probably is going to hurt his chances a little bit. Meanwhile, back up at the front, I believe Bruce Jenkins actually might have the lead now, although Derek Hamill to the inside. Let's see if it cycles around or not. No, according to scoring, Jesse Turner is the leader. And I think he did come into pit road. I think I saw him go into pit road, but I guess might have went with 2 tires and fuel. I'm not sure, but paid off for his benefit, as he's now the race leader, and he's got a 2.5 second lead over second place, which according to scoring is now Derek Hamill. But now we have 21 trucks on the lead lap, as 9 trucks have gone a lap down. So if we were to get a caution, we're going to see a first true glimpse of what happens with the restarts if the lap trucks blend in with the lead lap trucks or have to start behind the lead lap trucks. As we're a couple laps away from the halfway point here at Bristol. But yeah, Jesse Turner continuing to pull away from second place, and Derek Hamill pulling away from third place, Bruce Jenkins. So actually, now that pit stops have concluded, our first set of green flag pit stops, which was about 70 to 80 laps after the caution had came out. So it looks like between 70 and 80 laps is the fuel mileage run with these trucks here at Bristol. So I'm going to predict around, I'm going to say around lap 170 going into lap 180. Or actually, no, between lap 180 and 190 would be, I think, when we see the final set of pit stops. But now let's actually do a full field rundown of the lead lap cars to see where everyone stacks up on track. Jesse Turner is the race leader. Second is Derek Hamill. Third is Bruce Jenkins. Fourth is Sebastian Kukulon. Fifth is Ashland Boyd. Sixth is Johnny Gardner. Seventh is Caleb Kilburn. Eighth is Arthur Xavier. Ninth is Zachary Fitzwater. 10th, Paul Jackson. 11th is Jackson Traeger. 12th is Brad Cheston. 13th, Priya McShane. 14th, Chris Chagoy. 15th, Jay Jefferson. 16th, David Rivera. 17th, Cullen Francis. 18th, Seth Cole. 19th, Carter Friesen. 20th, Luke Rainey. And then the last truck on the lead lap is Jonathan Zorleen. As actually Zorleen's about to get reeled in by the leader, Jesse Turner. And right now, as far as who are the lap trucks, first truck a lap down is Matt McIntyre, followed by Kyle Matthews, Trey Fisher, Ben Crouch, Dylan Thoreau, Chris Harvey, Keith Miller, Joshua Sekuli, and Rob Evans. Those are all the trucks who have now gone a lap down. But right now, Jesse Turner holding court here at Bristol as he continues to extend his race lead to now 3.2 seconds. So unless something drastic happens in the next set of pit stops, or if a caution comes out, I don't know who could really make a challenge at Jesse Turner at this point. Although you do gotta wonder, perhaps if Jesse Turner did in fact take 2 tires, you gotta wonder how much longer those tires are going to last before Derek Hamill and company begin to reel in the 17. Or does tires not matter in this case? So far, it looks like the tires don't matter as Jesse pulls ahead to nearly a 3.5 second lead over second place. But let's see if we can find any battles going on track between lead lap trucks. Right now, the closest one I see is for the 10th position between Paul Jackson in the 24 and Jackson Traeger in the 51. Traeger trying to run a little bit lower on entry to try and get some air to the grill of that truck. It looks like it might pay off as he's now about to get the run, and he's underneath the 24 of Jackson. And it looks like going on into turn 1 and off turn 2, Traeger might be able to make the pass clean, and he does get by. And that actually also helps for Brad Cheston to maybe reel in the 24 as well. Brad Cheston closing in on the back bumper now of the 24 of Paul Jackson. And now running lower on the track, but doesn't quite make the move. Caleb Kilburn trying to reel in the 21 of Johnny Gardner is going to make the pass thanks to help from Rob Evans trying to get around the 21. So now Caleb Kilburn moves up to the 8th position. Strong run for that 99 truck so far in this race. Next battle we might see happen might be for the 4th position. Ashland Boyd trying to reel in that 4th spot of Sebastian Kukulon. And also just up ahead, you got the lap truck of Joshua Sekuli trying to race Bruce Jenkins. And speaking of Bruce, he's trying to reel back in the 48 of Derek Hamill. Little continuation of what we saw earlier for the lead between the 48 and the 10, although this time for second, Sekuli looked like he gave a little shot to the back bumper of Bruce Jenkins and nearly got into the quarter panel of the 10. So now the 10's going to lose a lot of ground, as now Ashland Boyd actually just made the pass over Sebastian Kukulon for the 4th position, as Bruce Jenkins lost a lot of time in those past couple of laps, and now Ashland Boyd might have something for Bruce Jenkins to try and take the 3rd position away. Meanwhile, as far as any other battles, still battling is the 23 and the 24. This is for the 12th position, as Brad Cheston finally clears Paul Jackson to take the 12th spot permanently. Next closest battle I could find is a battle for Lucky Dog. Well, actually not for Lucky Dog, but to be the first truck a lap down. Trey Fisher trying to clear Cullen Francis, and does. Kyle Matthews also into that battle. Is right now Jesse Turner still leading the way, although I feel like those tires, if he did take 2 tires, those tires are starting to go away a little bit, as he did have a 4.1 second lead at one point over Derek Hamill. Now that lead's been cut a little bit, although Jesse did pull away by 2/10 that last lap. Derek Hamill is trying to close in on the 17. Let's take a look and see who has the fastest lap now in the race. Still the same from the last time we checked, Johnny Gardner at 15.606. As we still have 21 trucks on the lead lap, but Jesse Turner trying to reel in the 20 of Matt McIntyre as well as the other trucks in front of him to try and put them a lap down to provide more lap vehicles in between himself and second place. And during all that, Ashland Boyd actually now took the 3rd position away from Bruce Jenkins. Now he just has one more truck in his sights to get to 2nd, and that's been pretty much the dominant truck of the race, Derek Hamill, at least for the first half of the race. Trey Fisher trying to get a little bit racy with the race leader, Jesse Turner, to try and get back on the lead lap to make it now 22 trucks on the lead lap, but Trey Fisher's still got some work to do to try and make that pass. Although it's with that, it was slightly helping Derek Hamill a little bit, but now Jesse's starting to pull away from Fisher now as a result. Meanwhile, Ashland Boyd continues to reel in the 48 of Derek Hamill to try and make the pass for the 2nd position on the racetrack. Yeah, you can definitely tell he is closing quite a bit, and given the fact that there are lap trucks ahead of the 48 that are racing each other pretty hard, that could be beneficial to the 18. But now them lap trucks ahead of him started to settle things down a little bit as a result. But yeah, you can definitely tell trucks are now starting to catch the 17, as the 17, I feel like his tires are starting to go away as he's losing time on 2nd place. Last time by it was under 3 seconds. Now it's a little over 2 3/4 now. As yeah, Jesse Turner's starting to get a little bit slow on the racetrack now, but Ashland Boyd's still looking to try and make the move on Derek Hamill, but just hasn't been able to get close to him to make that happen. margin now this time. Half a tenth was lost between the 17 and the 48. And now Ashland Boyd, look at him, he's going underneath and makes the pass look easy on the 48 of Derek Hamill. So yeah, that 18 truck of Ashland Boyd is really, really fast. So yeah, he's definitely got a fast long run truck for now, although he went a little bit too high in the corner, and that helped for Derek Hamill to close back in. And not to mention, you got the lap truck of Colin Francis in front of the 18, plus more that are still battling. And Trey Fisher actually managed to pass Jesse Turner to get back on the lead lap, so now 22 trucks on the lead lap. Good job on the part of the 11. So that would be in case if a caution were to come out, he would be able to get back around on the racetrack to race for track position. And he's actually closing in on David Rivera a little bit to try and get to the 21st position. But Jesse Turner continues to lose time as far as trucks behind him closing in, as Ashland Boyd still trying to get around the lap truck of Colin Francis, but also trying to hold off Derek Hamill. And actually, as a result, there are two trucks closing in on that battle for second. Bruce Jenkins in fourth and Zachary Fitzwater in the fifth position. But now, Ashland Boyd finally gets around Colin Francis. So now the 18 can try and pull away from the 48 and work on closing in on the 17 of Jesse Turner. Is now less than a little over 2.4 seconds now separating. As Jesse Turner, yeah, you can definitely tell he is getting slower and slower every lap as this race goes along. Looking around on track to see if anybody was already going into pit road. No dice on that. Man, you can tell Jesse is really slowing things down. Let's see his lap time. Yeah, under a little over 16 and a half seconds, and now only leads by 2 seconds over Ashland Boyd. As Ashland Boyd continues to try and reel in, now it's under 2 seconds. Yeah, the 17 at one point had over a 4-second lead, now to under a 2-second lead. And now he's got another lap truck right on his back bumper trying to get his lap back. And that's Joshua Sekuli in the 31. Sekuli's right there. Can he dive it into turn 3? He nearly gives the bump and run to the 17. That would have been intense, but the lead continues to dwindle for the 17 truck to 1.6 seconds as the 31 is still trying to get around the 17 of Jesse Turner to get back on the lead lap. Ashland Boyd has now caught more lap traffic as he's now up to Dylan Thoreau and Kyle Matthews. Although he gives a little bit of like a drafting help for Dylan Thoreau to get around Kyle Matthews, so to speak. And the lead continues to dwindle to now 1.25 seconds as Joshua Sekuli has finally gotten around Jesse Turner to get back on the lead lap. Now Ashland Boyd has been cleared ahead of lapped cars or lapped trucks. Now can work on reeling in the 17 before pit stops were to happen. But while we watch all that, we're going to take another commercial break. We'll be right back for more coverage of the Food City 500 here at Bristol.
Big doors, small doors. You want to buy a door? We'll sell you a door. We only sell doors. We're Door Incorporated. We only sell doors. What the fuck has my life come to?
Hey, Levi. Oh, hey, Your Highness. Are you checking out ZevBellringerPorn.com right now? Yeah, I was actually just about to check it out right now for myself. Alright, well, let me know when you're done, alright? Thank you. Alright, I'll see you later.
20 minutes later.
Hey, Levi, I was just coming to check. Okay. That is the biggest boner I've ever seen in my fucking life. And Jesus, your walls are wider than they normally are. Well, he's not gonna have any kids. What you gonna do? If you want to have a good time in your room at night, be sure to check out www.zevbellringerporn.com and also follow her on Twitter at @zev_bellringer. Trust me, you will thank me later.
This is hot.
Wake up, damn it! Wake up!
What the fuck?
Look out! It's the sun! Your soft version eyes are no match for its ultraviolet radiation. Sunglasses are going out of style, and regular glasses will only make you look like a total faggot. What you need is ShitTech's all-new IRSA eye gear. Created with functionality in mind, the IRSA eye gear will protect your eyes from all the elements, including sunlight, shame, and the forces of nature. Take a look at how this smarmy cunt gets blasted with water in his eyes without any protection. Now let's try that with IRSA eye gear. Wow, it really works! IRSA eye gear will make you the talk of the town, and the chicks will flock to you. Even your pets will love IRSA eye gear. IRSA eye gear is proven to protect the eyes from all forms of sunlight with zero permanent damage caused, guaranteed. And the best part is, we're ready to share this revolutionary new product with you for just 7 payments of $19.95. So go ahead and stare directly into the sun for the next 36 hours. You know IRSA eyewear is good for it. To order IRSA eyewear from ShitTech, dial 1-800-USELESS or log on to www.shittyshittech.com. ShitTech products are banned in the states of Vermont, Maryland, Missouri, and Oregon. All other states are currently pressing legislation to ban ShitTech products within their borders too, so be sure to call quick in order to secure your product. That's 1-800-USELESS. ShitTech products have just been outlawed in the state of Wisconsin. We didn't want their shitty cheese-covered money anyway. Don't delay. Call 1-800-USELESS. 1-800-USELESS.
Ever since starting to use IRSA eye gear, I haven't been able to look at anything the same way again. Granted, I haven't been able to see anything at all since then, but...
Welcome back to the Food City 500 here at Bristol as we're nearing 50 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway, as things were a little crazy during that commercial run. As from what I saw, yeah, the 54 of Carter Friesen got turned sideways, but no caution came out as a result. And Brad Cheston, something happened to him. Must have hit the wall trying to get in the pit road and is out of the race. So, and there you see it, he will finish dead last. So Brad Cheston will not make it 3 in a row in IRSA competition because of that. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Jesse Turner luckily still is going to hold on to the race lead, but Ashland Boyd is actually now closer to the 17 as a result at a half a second. So now let's see what Ashland Boyd can do in lap traffic pressure as well as fresh tires and see what happens. As we got under 50 laps to go here in the Food City 500, but luckily, if we stay green, this race will be done in no time. But meanwhile, so now we have 18 trucks on the lead lap, probably going to have more lap trucks here momentarily, as Trey Fisher is going to be in probably the next one to go lap down. Although Trey doesn't let the 17 go by, so that could help Ashland Boyd a little bit. Let's see. No, it actually didn't that much. But now Jesse Turner goes by the 11 of Trey Fisher to put him a lap down again. But the top 10 now, as the final round of pit stops have concluded, Jesse Turner is your race leader still. Second is Ashland Boyd. Third is Sebastian Kukulon. Fourth is Bruce Jenkins. Fifth is now Arthur Xavier. Sixth is Derek Hamill. Seventh, Jackson Traeger. Eighth, Caleb Kilburn. Ninth, Priya McShane. And then 10th, Luke Rainey. 11th on track right now is Chris Chagoy. 12th is Johnny Gardner. 13th, Paul Jackson. 14th, Jay Jefferson. 15th, Jonathan Zorling. 16th, David Rivera. 17th is Matt McIntyre. Zachary Fitzwater is actually on the verge of going 2 laps down now as Jesse Turner's trying to get to him. And now Ashland Boyd's starting to lose a little bit of time as a result of getting held up by the 11 of Trey Fisher as Jesse Turner continues to go around lap trucks to put them a lap or more down. But now Ashland Boyd finally gets around the 11. Now he just needs to get around another lap truck of Zachary Fitzwater, and then hopefully the 18 could try and make a run at the 17. But the 17 of Jesse Turner has been the dominant truck so far in the second half of the race. The first half it was Derek Hamill. Now it's Jesse Turner. Although Jesse Turner might get passed by Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater had a run underneath, but just didn't make the move. But that helped for Ashland Boyd to close the gap. Ashland Boyd is not giving up on this. Margin that time by a little over 0.4 of a second. So now, for now, Ashland Boyd has no lap trucks to deal with to try and make a run on the 17. And the next truck to go a lap down would be Matt McIntyre if the 17 can get around him. That's the thing. As the laps continue to wind down here at Bristol. And I don't even think this race has reached an hour yet. Or if it has, then it's been very, very quick. After all, we've only had one caution so far, and it was a phantom caution. And then during that round of green flag pit stops, something happened. Although now we got the battle for the lead. Ashland Boyd, who made a huge run. I think Jesse Turner overdrove the corners. And now Ashland Boyd has taken the race lead over. Ashland Boyd, new leader here at Bristol, but can Jesse Turner reel him back in? He's trying to get the bottom to kick in, and he's going to perhaps take the lead back. We may be in for something special between these two. Ashland Boyd in the 18, Jesse Turner in the 17. As Jesse Turner clears the 18 of Ashland Boyd was maybe going to go for a crossover move, but just didn't have the speed to carry in the turn 3. But he is still right there on the back bumper of the 17 and is now actually going to try and pass the 17 again. And we're now seeing probably the best part of the race so far. This back and forth battle between Jesse Turner and Ashland Boyd. And man, imagine if that was the finish. That would have been incredible. But now Ashland Boyd might actually now start pulling away from Jesse Turner, as now Jesse Turner had a couple lap trucks right on his tail, maybe trying to pass him. But does Ashland Boyd have a truck that's capable of reeling back in the 18 to try and get the lead another time? We'll see what happens, as now Ashland Boyd has the lead, as we still have 17 trucks on the lead lap. But nonetheless, that's the situation we have currently. As we're nearing 200 laps, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of this event. The last time by, Jesse Turner tried to close the gap in a little bit. Let's see the margin this time. Now it grew a little bit. But yeah, you can tell that these two trucks are relatively even. Right now there's just no lap traffic to deal with to maybe alter what could happen, as it's now 24 laps to go here in the Food City 500 at Bristol, as we are getting closer and closer to the end of our third event for the International Racing Series Association. Excuse me, I had a hiccup right there. Meanwhile, back up here at the front, or back up here in front of the leaders, maybe a pass, well, not for position, but Matt McIntyre trying to get around the lap truck of Ben Crouch. Now Ben Crouch on the verge of going 2 laps down as well. But now that Ashland Boyd has entered into lap traffic again, could this help Jesse Turner get back to the back bumper of the 18 and maybe try and get back into the lead? Although he's starting to run out of time, as it's now 20 laps to go here at Bristol, but now Ashland Boyd looks like he's going to finally pass Ben Crouch. Although now Ben Crouch is going to end up holding up Jesse Turner, and that could help Ashland Boyd pull away a little bit, but he's still got another truck ahead of Matt McIntyre, who is on the lead lap right now. And Matt McIntyre is just trying to do all he can to stay on the lead lap. As, yeah, it was unfortunate for Brad Cheston that he ended up... I'm still not entirely sure what happened to cause his damage, as well as his engine to just completely die and taking him out of the race entirely. And now Ashland Boyd's pulling away from Jesse Turner, now to a little over a 9/10 of a second lead. But he's still got Matt McIntyre in front of him to deal with. And I feel like Jesse Turner's getting frustrated with this 19 truck. He's trying to get around him so he can try and reel back in the 18 of Ashland Boyd, but it's just to no avail right now. As Ashland Boyd still holding off the 17 and still trying to pull away. But now Jesse Turner finally gets a run underneath the 19 of Ben Crouch to finally get by him, so now he could try and run back down the 18, but he's gonna have to really push it because these laps go by fast, as next time by it will be 12 laps to go, or 13 laps to go, excuse me. That time by, Ashland actually pulled away to a 1.1 second lead. But now that he's got Matt McIntyre right in front of him, could this help Jesse Turner? If it's going to help, he's going to have to go through very fast, as it's now 12 to go here in the Food City 500. 11 to go, and the margin didn't really change all that much. And what in the world happened to Derek Hamill? He has lost so many spots now, to the point where he's 16th now, and he was the dominant car, or the dominant truck in the first half of this race. Jesse Turner closing in just a little bit, but it's not by a big margin to really make a challenge at the race lead. But yeah, something is wrong with that 48 truck of Derek Hamill as he continues to sink like a rock. But another 10th has gone off of the lead for Ashland Boyd, as he's now going to have to deal with 2 lap trucks ahead, Matt McIntyre and Derek Hamill. 1 second lead with 8 laps to go. Does Jesse Turner have anything left in the tank to try and get the win here? Managed to close in a 10th and a half that last lap, as Matt McIntyre's thinking about trying to pass Derek Hamill to try and take a position away. And yeah, you can tell Jesse Turner is starting to close back in, and he cut the margin in less than half that time. Jesse Turner may still have some life in him, but he's going to have to really push it, as it's going to be 5 laps to go across the line. Jesse Turner's running out of time, but he's still closing in, as lap traffic ahead of Ashland Boyd starting to hinder that lead, and Jesse Turner continuing to close in. We could be in for a great finish here between these two. Margin was cut in less than half again, now to a quarter of a second, separating the 18 and the 17 as the laps continue to wind down, as it's going to be 3 laps to go across the line as the lap traffic ahead of the 18 continue to race, slowing his progress down. Jesse Turner's now right there close to the back bumper, but does he have momentum to try and make a pass on the bottom as lap traffic's actually starting to close in on Jesse Turner to maybe pass him? 2 laps to go, and it's 2 tenths separating Ashland Boyd and Jesse Turner. As the 2 final lead lap cars try and race, Derek Hamill about to go a lap down as the white flag is out here in the Food City 500 at Bristol. Gonna be one final shot for Jesse Turner. Can he make a move going into turn 1 or turn 3? Oh, he tried but didn't quite have the momentum. Checkered flag getting ready to wave. Ashland Boyd wins the Food City 500 at Bristol. Man, it got really dramatic there, close to the end right there, as lap traffic began to slow down. The 18 of Ashland Boyd and Jesse Turner came back for being over a second back, managed to almost get the win right there, but man, oh man. We had a great battle, though, in the final closing stages of that race between the 18 and the 17, but Ashland Boyd picks up the win in the 3rd ever IRSA special offline event here at Bristol, in our final IRSA event for a little while. So, Ashland Boyd, bask in this victory as much as you can. But let's take a look at the rest of the results. Jesse Turner, so close, but just to no avail, gets a 2nd place run, but came close. If he had made the move, dove it into turn 3, he might have had a chance at it. Sebastian Kukulon, who led early in the race, came through with a great run in the 3rd position. Arthur Xavier came out of nowhere to get a 4th place run, and then Jackson Traeger rounding out the top 5 and 5th. Caleb Kilburn with a solid performance in the 6th position. Bruce Jenkins, who had a good truck during some of the second half of the race, or actually, no, more likely in the first half of the race, just couldn't quite get much going for him, but still gets a great run in 7th. Luke Rainey with a great run in the 8th position. Solid run for Paul Jackson in 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 with a great run in 10th, Chris Chagoy. Then there's the rest of your top 20, and then the rest of the field with only one truck out of the race, and that was Brad Cheston, who won at Daytona and Kansas in the previous 2 IRSA events. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the Food City 500 here at Bristol, as this was a fantastic event. But like I said, Marvel Studios Cup's going to be coming back during the winter months, so we're going to be taking a little hiatus from IRSA competition, but it will return. But until then, thank you guys for watching. This is Levi McIntyre, signing off.